whoever is in this house who is non-living, we came here to visit you. Are you up for some visitors tonight?
It's a you. That was a really warm welcome. We literally just walked in here. So the way you were just speaking to us, it sounds like you were using some vulgar language. So if you're gonna try to make us leave, you'll probably have to do something a little more impressive.
So,
right over me.
yeah.
They called us here because we talk to a lot of people like you. And even though you're angry, we're still not gonna judge you and we're still not gonna be mean back.
Can you tell us your name, at least?
It's here, let's listen.
So the way you were just speaking to us, it sounds like you were using some vulgar language. Even though you're angry, we're still not going to judge you, and we're still not going to be mean back.
Nothing.
Well, I think we need to regroup.
Yeah, let's call it a night. That was intense.
By nature, like, that kind of person isn't gonna volunteer a lot of information.
During last night's investigation, we made 2 discoveries. The ghosts haunting the main house are scared of whatever is in the caretaker's cottage. And whatever's out there isn't going to talk to us willingly. Today, we are going to focus on research and see if we can get any leads into who is out there and why they are so angry and aggressive.
Do you wanna look at some of the, like, census records and things and see if we can figure out some names to use tonight?
Yeah, I mean, let's please. I mean, I feel like the history here is so in depth that we need a direction to go in, and right now, just to start, you know?
Right. I mean, she gave us a lot of names, but
Yeah.
I feel like it would be helpful if we had some of just, like, maybe some of the workers and everything. So
Yeah.
let me just bring it up. You know, let's start with the Turners. They were the last family here to own slaves. Census records. Here's the Turners. So we have Carolina's Turner. This is their census.
This is Farmer. That says...
Does that say overseer?
We think he may be an old overseer.
Okay, so here's a Baldwin Lee. And it looks like he was the overseer here. And this was in 1850, but like all the documentation relating to it is at the Library of Virginia.
Okay.
We can actually look at physical copies of this if we go to the library, and they can pull them for us so we can figure out what happened here.
We've reached out to Dr. Greg D. Kimball, Director of Public Services and Outreach at the Library of Virginia. He pulled documents about Baldwin Lee and his connection to Belle Grove Plantation.
I have some original documents for you to look at.
Oh, thank you so much for pulling this stuff for us. It sounds like there's a lot going on at this plantation.
There certainly is.
The Turners were such a huge part of the plantation, and it sounds like they had their overseer at the time was Baldwin Lee. It seems like he worked here for a long time.
Correct.
So what did we find as far as what his history was with the plantation?
Just the raw numbers. He just appears in the census as an overseer, except for that he did commit suicide in 1868.
So there's this little blurb, and it says, Mr. Baldwin Lee, an upright and respected citizen, committed suicide at his home one day last week by cutting his throat with a razor.
Like, that's...
Pretty extreme, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's right after the war.
Yeah, I mean, the Southern economy has largely collapsed. You know, obviously the system he once worked under is gone.
Did he leave the property when we didn't? I don't think he did. He was like on the plantation.
I don't know that we know whether he's still working for the Turners.
You know, I don't want to speculate, but it seems like he didn't know what to do with himself anymore. He lost a lot.
What was his job?
As an overseer, there's really not a lot we can say about how he conducted himself. I mean, the nature of the job was forcing people to work, who is essentially a slave driver. One can imagine that there's still a range of violence one would use there. All of those are open questions, and it's certainly possible here there's more to know.
Yeah.
Sure. We now know Lee killed himself, so he was obviously a very troubled man. If he is in the cottage, we need to learn more about what kind of person we're dealing with. We called in Rita Wagstaff, a professor of African American studies. She can tell us more about his role as an overseer.
I mean, being here now, it looks so different from how it did. And so we're trying to just understand what life was like.
Where we're standing, like, slave quarters started about here and extended this way. And at one point, I think they had 192 slaves.
Wow.
At one point on this property, the Turner family. There was an overseer who I guess, did he manage? What was his job?
The overseer was the white man on the plantation who was in charge of working the slaves.
Would the overseer ever do any kind of punishing, or was he just in charge of...
Yeah, he would do punishing as well.
He would do it as well,
Okay.
Slaves would be whipped, beat, some would be killed. Who's gonna stop them?
That's right.
That's true. I mean, God. God, it's so hard to fathom, but we can't forget about it.
Now, what's strange here is that the overseer we've been kind of delving into here just makes me wonder what kind of person he was. And it's complete speculation. We can't find any records of him. He ended up killing himself. And so...
Oh, my goodness. All the ones I know about were just malicious people.
Okay. If Baldwin Lee is in the caretaker's cottage, it would explain why we were met with anger and aggression. His job was to control and punish people, but it doesn't explain why he's here. Now that we have a name, we'll try and engage the foul-mouthed entity to see if it's actually the overseer, Baldwin.
All right. This little silver box that I have in my hand, I know it might seem strange, but this can actually hear you. So go ahead and say your name as loud as you can towards this little red light. Nothing we've brought here will hurt you. We are not here to cause any harm to anybody. We're just here trying to figure out who's hiding in this building. Can you tell me what family you work for?
This little silver box that I have in my hand, I know it might seem strange, but this can actually hear you. So go ahead and say your name as loud as you can towards this little red light.
What was that?
Nothing we've brought here trying to figure out who's hiding in this building.
Oh my God, that's his
That's his
name.
name again.
You're not here to cause any harm to anybody. We're just here trying to figure out who's hiding in this building.
Baldwin!
We don't know what you're saying.